Healthcare spending amounts to about a fifth of the entire American economy. Elizabeth Warren demands total control of all of it immediately. That's Medicare for All. If it becomes law, it would amount to the largest expansion of the federal government since the Second World War by far. So it's worth asking how exactly all of this would work, and critically, who would pay for it? Elizabeth Warren has been asked that question many times, and every time she has refused to answer.
Will you raise taxes on the middle class to pay for it, yes or no?
Costs will go up for the wealthy and for big corporations, and for hardworking middle-class families, costs will go down. Hard-working middle-class families are going to see their costs go down.
But will their taxes go up?
Well, but here's the thing.
Here's the thing. I've listened to these answers a few times before.
Will middle-class taxes go up? Will private insurance be eliminated?
Look, what families have to deal with is cost, total cost. That's what they have to deal with. How much are your costs going to go down?
No, different question. How much will your taxes go up?
No, it's how much are your costs, because it's how much families end up spending.
I know that argument, but will you pay more in taxes?
Look,
why don't you want to answer that question? Because Jake said tonight, that's a Republican talking point. It's not a Republican talking point. It's a question.
It's a question about where people are going to come out economically. Look,
no, that's not my question. That's not my question.
She will not answer. She won't explain, no matter how hard she's been pressed. And as you just saw, even some fairly strident Democratic partisans have pressed her. Warren refuses. She will not explain what it would cost or who would pay for it. Well, tonight we have a credible estimate. According to a study by the Urban Institute, in just the first 10 years, Elizabeth Warren's Medicare for All plan would cost an additional $34 trillion. Now, that sounds like a lot. How much is it? Here's some perspective. The Congressional Budget Office anticipates that the United States, the whole United States, will collect just $46 trillion in taxes over the same period. In other words, Elizabeth Warren's health care plan alone will consume the overwhelming majority of all tax dollars in the United States. That's before we spend a single dollar on, I don't know, Social Security, education, national defense, and everything else. It's demented. Now, you should know that the Urban Institute has no motive to attack Elizabeth Warren. It's not a right-wing think tank. It's a left-wing think tank. They likely didn't even account for the cost of Warren's pledge to give free health care to every illegal alien who sneaks into the country. So who is going to pay for all of this? Well, think of it this way. $3.4 trillion a year. That's the estimated cost. Divide that by 320 million Americans, and you get more than $10,000 per person. Not per taxpayer, per person. That means every child, every retiree, every prison inmate, everybody. That would be the largest tax assessed in American history by far. Nothing even comes close. That would change everything. An awful lot of people would just leave the country and not come back. So how do you pay for Medicare for All? It's not a minor detail we can settle later. It's the single most important question about the program. Why do you think we don't have it already? Because we can't afford it. Elizabeth Warren pretends that's irrelevant. And to her, maybe it is irrelevant. At some point in the last couple of years, Warren stopped functioning as a conventional senator and became a kind of messianic figure. Details like what things cost or whether something is constitutional or even if the majority of Americans want it. None of that seems to interest Elizabeth Warren anymore. Warren has seen the future, and in that future, she has complete and unquestioned control of America. She's the most powerful person in the world. You can almost hear her repeating the phrase to herself, the most powerful person in the world. It's intoxicating, clearly.